All right. Hey guys, welcome to our last Dream Team Zoom. I almost called it a power plan. That would not be right. Dream Team Zoom of January. I don't want to ignore the fact that it's 7:30 on the last day of the month, and some of you are still pushing for things like auto bonus and such. So do know that my phone's always on. We're ready to go. But I want to go ahead and start thinking ahead to February. And today I sat down myself and I pulled out my February habit tracker and I started writing in it, and I was like, oh, duh, we should do this together. Like, this should be a group event. So the chat is going to be a hopping place, hopefully during this particular Zoom. And also, obviously, as always, you can unmute and just shout out whatever you're thinking. But a lot of times we talk about setting goals and like vision boards and things like that. And you need that. But if you just have a goal and you don't have a way to get there, that's like knowing that you want to go to Florida, but you don't know if you're driving or flying. And if you are driving, what roads are you taking, what car? You have to know the details. So like one of the statistics that I read said less than 10% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolution goals because they don't have a way to track their progress. So, I mean, I've done that before. I've had goals in my life where I'm like, oh, this is my goal. And then I don't know, it just goes somewhere else. If you guys think about the trackers that we have in our cloud office, whenever there's a promo of some kind, what you're constantly looking at your tracker, you know where you are, you know what you've got, how much you have left to do. So the reason to me a habit tracker is so effective is because I know, did I check off that box or not? And now don't confuse this with your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's a business activity. So that might be an item that you put on your habit tracker, but that itself is a separate thing, if you know what I'm saying. So I want you guys to either shout it out or start putting in the chat. What are some things that you know you would do better at if you were keeping track of them? I'm gonna drink my hot tea while you're doing that, because it's cold in Ohio. Reach outs. I mean, it could be anything like birthdays. It could even be like, maybe back in January, you're like, I'm going to start exercising, and maybe you've not done it the way you hope because you've not been tracking your progress. Or maybe you're like, I'm going to stay on top of the laundry, and you're not getting it done because you don't have a way to track that progress. Think of things that you know you would be more efficient at and better at if you were tracking the progress. Eating better. I need to finish my vision board. I will not go to bed to fight tonight till it's done. Courtney, drinking my water. Anything else?
I forget to do promoter reach outs.
Okay. So like internal team reach outs, you mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so if I don't write down promoter on my thing and then the names, it don't happen.
Okay. All right. So my point being, so I put a bunch of free printable trackers. I just stole those off the interwebs and downloaded them and put them into Dream Team that you could then steal and print. Or you guys can just go to Google and type in free printable habit tracker and find one and print it that way. You can also find lots of apps where you can keep track of your habits. But here's the part about a habit tracker that I think is really important. And I can't remember who taught me this, if it was that 12-week book or whatever it was, but somebody somewhere taught me that part of the habit is you got to figure out what starts the habit. So for example, to reach out. So I'm going to use Sonia's, it's Sonia and Sandra. So to actually do the reach out, what's the first thing you have to do? Courtney, to drink more water, what's the first thing you have to do? Like to actually, for you to be able to say, check, I drank my water, what is the first thing you have to do? And it's going to be different for everybody. So I'm going to work from Courtney's because I think it'll make more sense. You guys can break it down. If I'm saying, well, yeah, you have to make the decision to do it for sure. But the action of doing it. So if Courtney's saying, I want to drink more water, her action may be putting her bottle of water in the refrigerator at night before bed. So in the morning it's cold. It could be it could be setting out 4 empty water containers in the morning, finding a cute cup and leaving it by, yeah, like, so there's an action step before the habit can take place. So if it's, let's say it's birthdays for you, Sandra, what is the action that needs to happen? Do you need to go into Facebook and find the birthdays? Or maybe your action is on Sunday, you write them all down, or maybe, because this is how my brain works, I have to sit down.
They're written down every freaking day.
Okay. So what do you need to do to make the habit actually take place? So in my case, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. But if I don't sit down and do it, it won't happen. So I have to have it on my calendar from, not whatever, depending on what day of the week my schedule changes, but like from 8:30 to 9, I'm going to sit down and do my reach outs. And that for me is important. Now, I know some people who can just do reach outs while, I don't know, cleaning their house with one hand or doing what I can't. I have to actually sit down and focus on it. There's lots of things I can do, multitask. There's lots of stuff I can do like while driving or folding laundry. But for me, reach outs, I have to sit down. So the reason I'm pointing this out is because it's really easy. So like, for example, when I started to write mine out, and that's why I was like, oh, we need to do this as a group. The very first thing I put on there was 1 reel a day. Okay, well, that's easy, Tammy. What has to happen in my life? And this will make you all laugh, but what has to happen in my life to do 1 reel a day? I have been making them in the morning after I've showered, but before I go to work. So I gotta have my hair done. Yes. And not really makeup, because I'm telling you guys, just use the filters on Instagram. They're awesome. But I already have to have an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm getting up in the morning, doing all the things, blah, blah, blah. And then I have this little window that I've carved out that I can make the reel before I move on. Well, I can't just get to that little window, that 10-minute window, and be like, okay, I'm going to make a reel today. What am I going to do? I already have to know what reel I'm making. So the night before I go to bed, when I'm scrolling, I have to have the reel picked out. I have to have the audio saved. I have to have in my mind, what am I going to do? I try to do short ones because Samantha, you did one today. It was amazing. So many words. Oh my gosh, so many words. I don't know how you did it. So I will literally go through and be like, so for example, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, my window in the morning is much, much, much shorter. So I will make sure the night before I pick out a short reel. Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have more time. So I could pick out one where I have to do a little bit more memorization or whatever. But so you see, my point is, I'm going to put on here, I want to do a reel every day in February. Well, I can't just do a reel every day in February. It has to say, select a reel before bed. Because if I pick the reel out before I go to bed, I will make it in the morning. It can't just say reach out, 30 minutes reach out every day. And then I have to put it in my calendar. So I'm going to go back to this. So Courtney says the start of drinking water is easiest. It's the refills. I get busy with work and then don't drink anything. I can set an alarm on my phone every hour to remind myself. There you go. Set your alarm. Sonia, we have to, yeah, we're talking about my reels. So that's what I want you guys to think when you're going through. So for example, one of the things that I'm trying to get really good at, because I tell you guys to do it all the time, but I'm really bad about it myself, although I've been pretty good the last couple of weeks, adding at least 2 new friends on Facebook, and then at least 2 new, like, following. The Instagram's a little different. You guys all know that, but like, so I have it on here, adding 2 new friends on Facebook. Again, that's one where I have to sit down. I just have to sit down. So there's going to be an action that kicks off the habit. So there is something that triggers every habit. I think that's the book I read, Habit Something. It'll come to me. Anyway, there's something that triggers the habit. So you have a bad habit. All of us have a bad habit. Something triggers that habit. We don't want to do it. We know it's not good for us. We know we're trying to quit, stop doing it, blah, 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 but something triggers it. What's the exact same thing with good habits? So those of you that brush your teeth before bed, that is a habit, right? You don't even think about that, but yet you kind of do, because it's at some point in time in your night routine that you brush those teeth. So some of you might put your PJs on first, and that triggers your mind to go brush your teeth. Some of you might brush your teeth and that triggers you to put your PJs on, whatever it is, but you have a habit, and there's something that triggers that habit. Whatever triggers that habit is also kind of what enables that habit, I guess. So that's why I'm saying, like, for me to make a reel every day, the habit has to be to have the reel already picked out and saved. And that will trigger in the morning. The last thing I do before I go to bed will be save that reel. So in the morning, it'll trigger. That's the reel I'm doing today. So when I'm in the shower, I could be thinking about the reel I got to do. I could make sure I have all my stuff done, make the reel really quick, get ready and go to work. But if I don't pick it out the night before, I'm not going to have time to do it when I want to do it. So do you see where I'm going with that? I'm sure there's like technical words for this. And again, I read a book and learned all this, but that's how I learn. I pick up some things and not all of it. So anyway, so let's list some things. So like, for example, one of the other things that people, so like a lot of times people are like, well, I'm going to do, 30 minutes of activity every day. Well, the habit book or the habit trackers would encourage you to say, oh yes, have your gym bag ready the night before. Yes. Also commit to start. So if you're not doing something now, so let's say you're inactive now and you want to get to a 30-minute workout every day. If you go in and say, I'm going to do 30 minutes every day, A, that's overwhelming. B, it's probably impractical, yada, yada, yada. But if you put on your habit tracker, I'm going to move for 5 minutes every day. When you start the 5 minutes, A, you can do that, right? Everybody can move for 5 minutes. And then B, after 5 minutes, you can keep going or you can quit, but you've started the activity. So when you look at your reach outs and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do 30, start with 5. If you're new and you're like 5, start with 1. Put the start on your tracker so that you can get the push that you need to go without overwhelming yourself. Because remember, a lot of times when we're setting goals, we're like thinking big, which I love, but you have to break it down into the process of what you're going to do. Sandra says, I find I save so many reels and sounds, but never get them accomplished, committing to start. Okay, well, you already have a plethora then. So yours probably needs to say, turn on my ring light or put the camera in the ring light. Like there's an action that has to happen for you to do that. You could call it ring light time. You know what I mean? If I turn on my ring light, you know I'm making a reel because otherwise that thing's never on. So think about what little it's minute, like it's just these minute little things that people probably don't think mean that much, but they are what will trigger and carry you forward. So just like when people say, I'm going to eat a good breakfast, but then you get up in the morning and maybe you didn't have your fruit cut up ahead of time, or maybe you didn't have your protein powder. Maybe it was still out in the, you bought it, but it's out in the car or something like that. Like there's something you have to do before you actually get into the process. So when you're thinking about the habits that you want to get into, remember that your habits are not necessarily the goal itself. The habit is the thing that will get you to your goal. So if your goal is to do 30 reach outs a day, what's a habit you have to do? For me, it would be schedule the time to sit down and do it. If I want to do a reel a day, what's the habit I have to get into? I have to have my reel saved the night before. If I want to do 20 minutes of, what's that called when we read books?
Personal development.
Thank you. If I want to do 20 minutes of personal development, wow, first of all, I have to know what the hell the word is. If I want to do personal development, I have to know, am I going to read a book? Am I going to listen to a book? Am I going to be on a podcast? Like, what am I going to do? I have to know. So in my case, I like to listen to podcasts. Well, I have to have the app on there. I have to make sure the app is updated. Like there's just little things that you have to do. So I want you guys, we're going to spend the next 10 minutes. I think that would be fair, to either on a habit tracker or just on a sheet of paper. Here's the thing. Habit trackers are pretty. I like pretty things. They're clever the way they're organized. I like clever things. But if you just have a pen and paper, you can make a habit tracker. It just has to have the days of the month and, like however many habits you want to start. I will also say, if your habit tracker has room for 10 new habits in February, don't pick 10 new habits in February. You don't do that to yourself. We're only going to pick 2 or 3. Like pick things that will really make a difference in your life. Because here's the thing, at the end of 28 days, when you've got those 3 habits down now, then we can add the other ones in March. But far too often, somebody will have like 15 new habits they're going to form. Well, it ain't that easy. And I would encourage you guys too, if there is a habit that you already successfully do every single day, I don't even care if you say brush your teeth. Put one thing on your habit tracker that you already do. I know that sounds stupid, but at the end of every day, you're going to at least fill in one box. And like in my case, if I fill in my box that says I brush my teeth, but then I look and I don't have my reel ready for tomorrow, that, oh, I could get that done before I go to bed. Somebody might be like, oh, I brushed my teeth, but I didn't do my birthday reach outs because I didn't sit down. While I'm sitting down right now in the bed, I'm going to do my birthday reach outs. So put something on your tracker that you already know you can accomplish. And then let's pick out 2 or 3 that think. So you have to think backwards. I think that's the hard part. What is your goal? What's your end goal? Like, let's say somebody's trying to lose weight. So they want to start moving their body more. So they need to start moving their body 3 days a week. Well, how are they going to move their body 3 days a week? Well, like Lisa said, they're going to put their gym back out the night before. Or like I said, they're going to commit to 5 minutes on the treadmill. And then after the 5 minutes, they might want to stay or they might want to go, but they at least went and did something and got it started. It just depends where you are in the process. But this kind of, like, believe it or not, full circle goes back to the conversation we've had about ego. Ego is about the outcome. And when you're leading with your ego, you're always focused on the outcome. You're always focused on the winning, the it's over, the praise, all that stuff. Whereas if you can fall in love with the process, the habits, you will have outcomes happening all around you. She's not on here, I don't see, but I'm going to give Lacey a shout out. If you will look at Lacey's social media and look at Lacey's PPA, do you see a correlation? She is always filming, and I'm not saying you have to copy Lacey. I'm just saying her activity. So she does a reel, TikTok, whatever, every day, making her shake. Hair's not always done, makeup's not always, it doesn't matter, right? But she does it every day. And she's signing up new customers. So she's being consistent in her activity. So maybe it's just for you, the consistent activity needs to be a reach out. Because here's the thing, I still want to shout Lacey out for sure because I see it, but I don't want you to take from that means if you make a reel a day that you're going to start signing up customers. There's a lot of work going on in the background that she is also doing. She is talking to people, she's following up with people, she's sampling people. There's a lot more going into that. But I want you to look at the activity level that she is consistent with and her PPA, because they definitely go together. You can see that for sure. Dawn is another one who I see signing up people left and right. And I don't even really get to see Dawn that much or see her stuff, but I can only assume she's being super consistent with the process, because it's in the process that you're going to find those people. All right. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet because I said I was going to do that a minute ago and I'm not. So let's work on our trackers. So again, pen and paper, or if you print one out, you can do that. Or if you have an app, you can totally put one in an app. And I don't have the app because I'm old school, but any of you, if you do have the app, I don't know if, maybe the app dings at you to remind you. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
On this one right here, because there's so many lines, what I did so that I wouldn't feel like I should fill up every line, I skipped every other line.
Smart. And if this is confusing to think backwards, like for instance, I had reel. So 1 reel a day was my habit, but then next to that I put select before bed. So if you wrote reach outs, what do you need to do before bed? Or not before bed, that was me with mine. What do you need to do the reach out? So you can put the goal on there if you want, but then think backwards of what will get you there. How does that start? Like, when we say to 321 people on Instagram, for me to 321 people, I have to search hashtags because I got to find people to 321. I got to find people to follow. If I just open up Instagram and tell myself I'm going to 321 people, it does not happen that way for me. I end up in a rabbit hole. Oh, you guys could all take your 1, 2, 3. That could be one of your habits that you're going to do every day. Honestly, the hashtag thing confuses me when searching. Confuses you like how to search for them, or you just mean so much stuff pops up?
Well, the stuff that pops up, it's like, is that what I was searching for? Because it's like people. when I do the search, it
Well,
brings
so
up people.
that have
Is
used
that
that
what?
hashtag. Is
Hmm.
that what you mean? It brings up people that have used that hashtag.
Yes.
So that's why you have to be careful what you're searching for. So if you're typing in, I don't know, network marketing, if you're trying to go find other network marketers to bring to your business, that's one thing. But if you are wanting to find people who need more energy, or like, so, okay, let's just say you're looking for people who need more energy, hashtag exhausted, hashtag overwhelmed, hashtag tired as a mother. Those are the people that I want to like, I want to see who's using those hashtags, and then I can start following those people or comment on those people's things. So you have to think like the customer, and that who are you trying to find in that realm? Does anybody on here already use a habit tracker? I think February is a good month because it's only 28 days. So it's a good short 4-week start a new habit. And remember, I'm not asking you if you need to like do a brain dump right now and write down all the things that you wish were your habits, but then only pick 2 or 3, because it's not like you all have hours in the day to be, finding new habits in the next 28 days. No, but I do not, but I do use my Google Calendar for Zooms and such, so I remember. So you can remember where to be at what time and all that stuff, you mean? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, a calendar can be kind of like, a calendar helps keep track of your time. A habit tracker is more of, it's going to keep track of your activity. Because if I put on my calendar every day, like I was saying, if I put on my calendar every day, I'm going to make 1 reel a day. If I didn't pick it out the night before, it's not happening. So I want to get the habit that will push me forward.
That's what I started doing, because I can set my Google Calendar to be an event or a family calendar with my husband. And so I've been using my event part to keep myself organized, because I've been trying to plan meals more, and I've been trying to do more of this, that, and the other thing. And so if I put it in my Google Calendar for myself, then that sends me a ding that, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Okay, so you are kind of using it as a habit tracker then. Okay.
Yeah.
Sandra said, I heard something awesome from Starla today about February. What was it? Because I haven't got to listen to the recording yet. February is only a short month if you act like it's a short month. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Yeah.
She gave the example that she and her daughter both hit 12K in the month of February, and she hit 200K for the first time in February.
Ah.
So I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's not how much time you have, it's what you do with the time that you have, for sure. I like that though. February is only a short month if you act like it's a short month. I'm going to ask you guys that are committing to the habit tracker, by no means. I mean, so your habit tracker, this piece of paper that you're working on, that is your accountability partner right now. Okay. It's always going to look at you. It's going to have a spot for you to check off or color it in, or whichever one you chose. But I am going to ask you to bring them on Monday nights and just do a quick check-in, like, and I am not by any means asking you for perfection. My habit tracker probably won't be perfect because I'm a human, but if I use this habit tracker and I do 80% better than I would have done without the habit tracker, you better bet my habits are going to be a hell of a lot better, right? So even if they're only 50% better, if I do these habits 50% of the time, that's 50% more than I would have done without it. That's going to improve things. So I'm not asking you to show up every Monday and be like, my tracker is perfect. But I'm just going to want you to check in every Monday and be like, yes, it was great, or no, it was awful. Because as we go through the month, you may start to realize that the habit that you thought you needed to do, or the thing that you thought would be the way to start it, may not be the right thing. And we could all kind of work together on it. Or maybe you'll come up with that on your own and be like, so like, let's say all of a sudden I'm like, what, I thought I needed to select the reel before bed, but really the thing that was holding me back was, I don't know, not having the dogs locked up in their kennels, and I wasn't able to record in time. So, it could just be something like that. Like we might find down the road ways to make the habit even better for us. I'm excited for a habit tracker though. Plus I'm excited for a new month. I'm ready. I'm excited for February. We're this much closer to spring, says the girl who's about to be put on ice lockdown in 2 days or some crap like that. Ohio is stupid. Sam and TJ are the smartest ones in the whole group. They flew the coop. Got the hell out of Dodge. I'm ready. Yeah, Sonia, February is your month. January can suck it. Oh, look, there they are. They're waving. They're like, there we are in our t-shirts. We're so happy. Oh, they're drinking tequila on a Monday night. The best roommates ever. Sandra says, I even bought new sandals tonight. Oh, you are ready for January. I mean, February, not January. I even said it backwards. Okay, does anybody have anything they want to add? Any questions about a habit tracker? Anything that they like, oh gosh, I never thought about the fact that I have to trigger myself to do the habit. Anybody? Sam was like here and gone and here and gone. I don't know. Were you going to say something, Sam, or were you just trying to get off the thing? Okay. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to do tonight. I just wanted to go over. Oh, Lindsay, are you here? Oh, okay. I thought maybe, I didn't know if you did that because you wanted to say something. Okay. She's like, no, I'm cleaning. Okay. So get your habit tracker figured out. I always have to go backwards. Get it figured out. Like I said, 2 to 3 habits that you want to work on. Put one on there that you know you're great at. So it literally could be take my Thrive or brush my teeth or whatever, something you're already really, really good at. Have that on there. You'll have a sense of accomplishment, filling off, checking off or filling in that box. And then we'll just see next Monday if you guys are getting any better with your habits or if we need to change anything. So also those of you that are on here that we're still working on your auto bonus, let me know. Bye. Oh, now my thing is frozen. Can't get off of the meeting.